Hello, Necrons. Painted these quantum nodes, and I'll show them to you quick, and then I'll tell you how I painted them. Probably go along the front row, then along the back row. Sorry if I'm panning too fast. I'll show you the side of them. And most of the work was done by the priming, which is great because I can use the airbrush for that, and a spray can I use too. I think I use mostly a spray can for these, but a lot of times I use an airbrush for the priming, which saves me so much time. And the idea of my terrain is that it's flat, not shiny, and that it doesn't stand out compared to the nekrons that I'll use here. The nekrons I want to be more standout-ish than the terrain. I want the terrain to be just in the background. So I like the flat colors, and the gold is very minimal, so that won't stand out so much, I feel like. So that's kind of my philosophy of painting terrain. And I started out, so look at videos Nexus 1, 2, and 3. That tells you how I primed it. And then I painted the middle two things, gold things. And I see that there's a place that I missed, so I'll show you how I get rid of that. I just take my fingernail and just remove it wherever I missed. And then a lot of times I go over with a shade, which I'll talk about later, and do it with my fingernail again once it's kind of soft, and then go over it with the shade again. So I did the middle two with this marker, this acrylic marker. And the brand, so that you can get one, is Paint a Wonderful World for You. And I love these acrylic markers. They're so awesome. They're so easy to get good detail. And then I painted the side two gold things. Still some gold where I don't want it, where I whoopsed. I kind of got more clumsy as I went on with what I'm going to tell you about now. I used layer paint, Skull Crusher Brass, with Lamian Medium, and I mixed it in a silicone cup. So the Lamian Medium, the silicone cup, all that stuff, and a lot of painting advice came from Tabletop Minions, so shout out to them. And then what I did, and this was like magical to me, is I used a long brush, but I got most of the shade off. I used very little shade, and I put a line across the bottom of the gold. And on the ones I showed, the squarer ones is where it really made a big effect. And then I did it again along the bottom. Let me show you the squarer ones. So the idea is that it's corroded at the bottom of where I couldn't get with the acrylic marker. So there was some places where I just couldn't get down in there, okay? Or I didn't get down in there if I could, and it just magically transformed it and made it look like gold that's been corroded on it. And then I went along the bottom again with it, very subtly. You can see it more on this side. What I learned is to get some shade on the brush twice on these big ones, and then do an end and a side, and then get some more paint shade on it. So what I used for the shading, sorry I didn't tell you that first, is Biotan Green from Citadel. And it just magically transformed it. I used it on these other square ones too, and it just really filled in. It was like when I put the brush and just dabbed the brush inside of that, it was just like it was magically transformed. All of a sudden it looked more like real instead of being painted. So really that's what I did and my secrets for it. And I'll have some very subtle terrain and hopefully some Necrons that really stand out in front of it. Thank you, Necrons.